and welcome to another draft video here on Cheap Ass MTG. Got a vintage cube up on Magic Online at the moment, which is pretty exciting. I'm quite a fan of vintage cube. Out of this pack, got a few really strong options. Got Mana Drain, which is obviously incredible. There's also Bitter Blossom, which can be really strong in sort of black-white decks. There's also Mother of Runes, if you want to see White Weenie. It's not the strongest archetype in the cube, but this is one of the few reasons to go into it, I think, early. I'm going to take Mana Drain though. Card's pretty busted. It also just goes in quite a lot of decks. You don't really have to be a control deck for Mana Drain to be good, you can be a combo deck. Yeah, I could see arguments for both Bitter Blossom and the Mother of Runes Home. Okay, a few options. Could take Tendrils of Ebony and dive into Storm. I do like me some Storm. There's also a Deceiver Exarch. The Splinter Twin deck, if you can get it, is really strong. It goes well with our first pick. There's also just a Signet, which is never a bad pick. I'm going to take the Exarch though. Yeah, I think we can get it for Splinter Twin attack. It's pretty insane, this cube actually. People don't tend to play that much instant speed removal, just because the decks aren't that creature based, so Splinter Twins are very nice place to be. Okay, options. There's Reanimate, which goes pretty well with our Mana Drain. And I think the Reanimated deck is pretty strong. There's also just a Thoughtseize, which I like quite a bit. I mean, people's hands tend to be quite fragile in this sort of format, because everyone's trying to do broken stuff and don't have a lot of redundancy often. It's also just more flexible than Reanimate. You can just play it in like a blue-black control deck or something. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Thoughtseize. Okay, so Inquisition isn't really the discard spell you want. There's just too many expensive cards that you have to take. There's an Imperial Recruiter, which is fine in Twin, but obviously probably wheels. Shadow Mage Infiltrator, Living Death. Lotus Bloom can also be totally fine if you're trying to cast really big things. It's a pretty weak pack all around. I guess we'll just take this Hedron Archive. It's not great, but I mean, it ramps you and draws you cards. So it's not really what you want in Splinter Twin, but yeah, by no means locked into that. Okay, so there's a Hymn to Tourach here, which is pretty busted. It's quite an underrated card. Obviously double black is something of a commitment, but the card's so strong. I think that's okay. Could also see taking like Arid Mesa, and Phantasmal Image is very good too. Cryptic Command is like so taxing on the mana that it's only quite specific decks can run it, but I mean it is very good. Yeah, I'm going to take the Hymn here. And the thing is, if we did get a Splinter Twin, we can't play Hymn in that deck really. Yeah, I think I'm going to take it anyway though. Okay, so yeah, Reanimator's looking pretty open. Getting an Entomb 6th is something of a signal. We've passed a couple of reanimation spells, so it's certainly possible we've put someone else into Reanimator. We do have a decent start for it though. Like, Reanimator generally isn't a very all-in combo deck. You're trying to play some control cards and have a reanimation as the open condition. I think we're taking Entomb here. We're not giving up a huge amount, probably just taking a scrub land otherwise. I mean, Dark Petition's fine too, but happy with the Entomb here. Okay, so there's a Buried Alive here. Not really the best way to get stuff in your graveyard. There's not much else in the pack though. Like, I can't see his draft really end up in a place where I want a Johnny or Geist. Izumi Short Fang isn't terrible. Yeah, I think we take the Buried Alive though. I also don't really want to pass more signals for Reanimator. Ooh, nice. Looter's a really good pickup. All the Looters are great in Reanimator. Just the best discard outlets, really. So at the moment we have lots of good ways to get stuff in our graveyard, but we don't have the stuff to put in our graveyard or reanimation spells yet. Yeah, I don't think we're playing Putrid Imp for that reason. But it's an effect we have a lot of already, and better versions of. I might take Isochron Scepter. It's obviously great with mana drain. And put it on like a Thoughtseize or Hintertor against a slower deck, that seems fine. I think it was probably less than 50% what we play it, but if we do get a couple of more counter spells or something, it could be pretty good. I'm just going to take Temple here. We've got double blue and double black already, so I think the dual lands is pretty important. Scry lands also gain a little bit of value in something like Reanimator, where you're looking to put together a specific combination of cards. Not a lot here. Can't see us wanting Temple of Abandon. So I think it's between these two red cards, just in case we do somehow end up in Twin. Let's take Flametongue Carving. Okay, we've got Living Death back. It's good with Buried Alive, because you obviously get 3 big things in your yard. Well, it's a very late Arid Mesa. It doesn't do anything for us at the moment, but it's entirely possible we get dual lands and make that work. Okay, no one's drafting red. Okay, it's not a bad play one. It's looking much more likely we end up in Reanimator than Splinter Twin at this stage. Put the Exarch on the sideboard for now. It's not impossible, but I'd say it's unlikely. Okay, so we've got an Exhume here. There's also Counterspell. Kiki Jiki. It might be a bit late though for the Splinter Twin plan. I mean, if we thought we could play Grixis Twin and play like the Thoughtseize and the Hymn, then we could totally play Twin here, but it's pretty difficult with double black. I do generally like Twin more as an archetype than Reanimator. Just you kind of have to find less pieces. Thing is, if we pass this Exhume, it's really hard to go into Reanimator because we are short on reanimation spells. Yeah, I think we're meant to take it here. Okay, here's a makeshift mannequin. There's also a Watery Grave though. Yeah, I think we actually take the Watery Grave. It makes future fetch lands in blue or black very good. Makeshift Mannequin isn't the best of reanimation spells. I don't know, it's the fact that we only have Exhume at the moment, and kind of Living Death, but it's kind of expensive. Yeah, I guess we should take the Mannequin actually. Ooh, nice. Ulamog's a really nice pickup here. one of the better things to reanimate. Obviously you don't get the cast trigger, but 10-10 indestructible, where if it exiles top 20 when it attacks is pretty strong. Instead of that, like Signa is fine, but it's not really great in Reanimator. You don't really want Dark Confidant in your Ulamog Ceaseless on the deck. Whoa! What's this, like... third pick Demonic Tutor? Fourth pick, is it? It's crazy. Yeah, this is obviously an insane card. And Reanimator is one of the decks which wants tutors most, so really happy to pick that up. Yeah, if we wield something like a Duress, that would be great, but I don't expect to. Same with Creeping Tar Pit. Okay, there's a wooded foothills here that doesn't do anything for us at the moment, and it's quite unlikely to be honest, at this stage. So we're looking at Vendilion Click, which is just a good creature. It doesn't really fit in with our game plan at all. Uldin's Primal, I think, is not an effect we need at this stage. I'm just going to take Fact or Fiction. It's a good card draw. Okay, we can play a Remand. It's not great or anything, but it's decent. Puppeteer Click, I think, is kind of never very good. I've never seen it be good anyway. Ooh, nice. A Baleful Strix and a Streakmaw. Both pretty good. I think we want Baleful Strix. Elvish Norn isn't all that good to reanimate in a deck like this. Just 'cause we're not going to have a bunch of other creatures. And also there just aren't that many creature decks in the format. So, I'll have a Baleful Strix. Ooh, nice. Inkwell Leviathan and Sundering Titan. I think we're taking Inkwell Leviathan here. It's pretty close. But the Shroud is pretty important. It's also, of course, one of the best Tinker targets, but it's kind of unlikely we end up with enough artifacts, cheap artifacts for Tinker to be good at this stage. What, Counterspell wield? Well, that's very good. Kiki-Jiki also wield, but certainly take a Counterspell here. Verdant Catacombs would be nice as well if we got a blue-black duel, but I think Counterspell's a bit too good. I suspect at the moment we're not playing this Hedron Archive. Just don't really need that much mana. Okay, I'm going to take this Godless Shrine. It's good with fetches. Let's Arid Mesa get black, so if we got like blue-white or a blue-red dual land, then we can play Arid Mesa. Or obviously if we got like a blue-white fetch land. I think we really want at least one more thing to reanimate. And hopefully at least one more reanimation spell. Something like a Griselbrand would obviously be insane. Corpse Sense isn't really what we want. The thing this is really good for is like reanimating Emrakul and that sort of stuff. No, I think this guy is disconnected. That's so slow. I'm not going to play any of these cards. I don't really want to play against Tide Hollowskuller. I'm going to take that. Well, I guess it's not impossible to end up boarding in Angel's Serenity in certain matchups. Sure, let's take an Una's Prowler. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it. Is there any way this card's good? So situational, it seems horrible. Can take this, and in case we end up wanting to splash for some reason. Yeah, it really shows you that creature decks aren't all that when you see Day of Judgment getting last pick. Okay, nothing that fits super well with what we've got going on out of this pack. Could just take a Treachery, it's a fine card. It's also like a Mere Battlesphere, which I guess is a fine reanimation target. Like, kind of the upside normally of trying to reanimate Mere Battlesphere is that you can occasionally cast it, but we really can't, we have literally 0 ramp. I was just taking Treachery. Yeah, there's no reason to really take anything else. Okay, well, I like Damnation quite a bit. There's also Scalding Tarn. But at the moment that's not a dual land for us. Yeah, I think we're taking Damnation here. Like, there are some good creature decks in the format. And having like one mass removal is pretty nice. Can also tutor for it if we really need to. Okay, so we've got a second pick Mox, which is pretty unusual. It's not doing as much in our deck as it would in most, I think it's fair to say. Except that I think we're still just taking it. Because Moxen are insane. It does make it even more important for us though to pick up some fixing. Because if we're replacing a land with an off-colour Mox, because essentially playing colourless lands, so need some module lands for that reason. Okay, Kozilek's a decent thing to reanimate. There's also a Glenlandra Archmage though, which I think is just one of the best cards in the cube, actually. It's insanely, like, the value this gives you is insane. Like, Kozilek might even wheel. It's not even that much better than Angel of Serenity, I don't think, either. Diabolic Edict is probably also play, but I'd certainly rather have Glenlandra here. Okay, few good options. Iona's like fine thing to reanimate. There's also a compulsive research though, which I think is probably what we want. Like, if you compare it to like Una's Prowler as a discard outlet, this is so much better. And Iona could even wheel. Yeah, I'm just going to cut Una's Prowler now. Okay, good pack. So we've got Necromancy, Control Magic, and Frantic Search. I don't think we're taking Frantic Search, so it's between these two. So at the moment for reanimation we've got Exhume, Makeshift Mannequin, Living Death, and kind of Demonic Tutor. This is a decent amount better than Makeshift Mannequin for instance though. Yeah, I think we just want Necromancy. So the main thing I'd like from here is like one kind of better thing to reanimate and some more fixing. Okay, there's a Grim Tutor. It's probably what we're taking. Say Overtutor's pretty good in this sort of deck. It isn't the best one by any means, it's pretty expensive, but it just adds quite a bit of consistency to the deck. It also makes like the one-off Damnation and the one-off Treachery like that. Okay, is this... Okay, so Blood Crypt means Arid Mesa can already fetch black, so it doesn't do anything. We can't play any colourless lands for sure. So I guess we're taking Necrotal. Doesn't seem very good. non-artifact and non-black with pretty taxing conditions in this format. Okay. Are we playing this? We could play this. Probably not though. Do we actually think this Icicon Scepter is good is the other thing? We've got like 1, 2, kind of 3, kind of 4. I guess Exhume is fine things to copy onto it, but like the Thoughtseize for him are like quite situational, putting them on an Icicon Scepter. There are going to be plenty of times where that isn't very good. If the opponent has relatively few cards in hand. I suppose Demonic Shooter is also good, but I'm not sure it's really enough though. Like, we could see Bring It in some slower matchups, but don't think I like it otherwise. What could we want out of here? Or what would we not want to play against? Let's just take like a Supreme Verdict, maybe? Not worried about any of those cards. Oh, I guess Dragonlord of Tarka would be a reasonable thing to reanimate in certain matchups. The fact that it can hit Planeswalkers is pretty important. Is it better than Angel of Serenity? Maybe. Could just play all 4. Okay, Kozilek came back. That I think is better than Angel of Serenity. Bone Shredder again is a sideboard card. I guess Kozilek isn't really the best to reanimate. Just because the discard ability kind of relies on the cast ability to be really good. And obviously you're not getting the cast trigger if you reanimate him. So maybe we just want these 3. Unless there's something else we want to cut. I don't think so. I think 3 is enough as well. We've got some decent card selection. If we brought in another one, it would be the Angel actually. I think this is a decent amount worse than Atarka though, because Atarka, if they kill it, you still got some value, and Atarka can also hit Planeswalkers, which is pretty important. I think this is fine though. Mana is the thing I'm not super happy about. So Arid Mesa still just gets black, so there's no point. So this is 7, 8. That seems terrible. We had an opportunity to pick up a blue-black land over Counterspell. Somewhat regretting that decision now. So we could go up to 18 lands. Oh well, 17 plus for Mox. That is doable. Or we could just like cut him to Torak. It sucks though, because it's just one of the best cards we have. But the double black on 2 is going to be pretty rough, and obviously the later in the game it goes, the worse Sim to Torak gets. Yeah. And the fact that we have a looter and compulsive research somewhat reduces the cost you pay by playing extra lands. So this way we get 8. Oh, hang on, we're playing a mountain. Oh, I thought it wasn't that bad. Jeez, okay. That's the problem. So, because it puts in a mountain by default. So we can play 8/8 and still play the him. Him on 8 swamps is like not very good, but I think it's like still justifies its place. Same with like Mana Drain and Counterspell. can't count today. I think we need one more island. Well, I guess the thing is that Counterspell and Mana Drain are good in the late game as well. And we need to have Black Fairy reliably. Yeah, I guess let's go one more swamp. Okay.